very important when a child is newly diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy that they have access to a consultant who really is experienced in management of the condition. That may come from a variety of different backgrounds. It might be a paediatrician, it might be a paediatric neurologist, a geneticist or a rehabilitation consultant. But what's important is the clinic has experience and is committed to multidisciplinary and active management of the condition. One thing about Duchenne muscular dystrophy is that although every child is different, it does have very predictable complications. And the important role of the person who's primarily responsible for the child's care is to make sure that all of these issues are dealt with and foreseen and looked after promptly when they need to be. And so the role of the person who's in charge of the clinic is to coordinate the care in a variety of different directions. That may involve seeing the child maybe at 6 monthly intervals, maybe a year. It will depend on different setups and how the clinic is organised. At times it can be quite confusing to have a lot of different people involved, so it's the role of the primary carer to make sure that people are introduced when they need to be and that the family aren't overwhelmed by contact with a whole lot of different professionals when maybe they don't need it. There are key people though who have to be involved at different stages of the condition, and to start with that particularly involves making sure that the family has the proper genetic advice. So that would be involvement of the genetics team, which might include doctors, counsellors, other members of the team as appropriate. And again, that will depend on where you live and what facilities are available. Physiotherapy is critical right from the start, and involvement maybe of a specialist physiotherapist based with the local muscle team will be added to by involvement of local physiotherapists based out in the community. And the relationship with the physiotherapy team is a very long-term one and one that's very important for all concerned. Other people who may be involved in an early stage would include the local occupational therapy team, perhaps speech and language therapy if that was indicated, and also the orthotics department who will be responsible for providing appliances for the child with the local physiotherapist. As time goes by, it's very important that the primary muscle clinic has access to a range of other different specialties who understand the condition and who are happy to become involved with people as and when they need it. And this might include orthopaedic surgeons, it might include dietitians if there are problems with diet, it might include other specialties where there are particular issues involved, such as, for example, cardiology and respiratory medicine. It's also very important with what's actually a relatively rare condition that the local team takes on a role of liaising with other local agencies who maybe don't understand exactly what the implications of the condition are. This may include schools who perhaps will be very worried about the diagnosis of Duchenne muscular dystrophy in one of their pupils and may need reassurance as to exactly what the effects are likely to be, and also maybe housing authorities who might need information about the likely impact of the disorder on the housing needs of the family. It's very important that we need to be very positive in our approach to looking after somebody with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. We're all looking forward to the day that there will be a cure for this disorder. But in the meantime, that mustn't let us neglect the fact that there are lots of ways to manage the complications that come about as part of Duchenne muscular dystrophy. For example, we can use steroids to prolong the time that the boys can walk independently, and there are lots of different regimes that may be chosen to use steroids, and it's important that parents and doctors choose the regime that's right for them in partnership, given all the facts one way and another about the use of steroids. It's key that patients get access to good physiotherapy from people who know what they're looking for and know how to manage the complications that might come up. That can be really an active part of prolonging ambulation and keeping comfort and well-being for the boys. Where I've seen real changes though in how we look after Duchenne muscular dystrophy in the 10 years or so that I've been looking after people with this condition has been in the later stages, where we have much better ways of looking after the respiratory and heart problems that come along as the boys get older. There's no doubt at all that proper surveillance and management of the breathing and heart problems is leading to a great improvement in life expectancy and also in quality of life. All of this means that we have to be planning positively for these young people to be growing up into independent adults.